Welcome everybody to Exploring with Cindy and Dan. Today we are in Sydney in Australia with the Sun Princess. Join us in this adventure. Our cruise started in Sydney and our ports of calls were Burnie, Hobart and Port Arthur. In this video we will show you the Sun Princess cruise and Sydney and its surrounding areas. We took the big bus Sydney hop on hop off once we arrived in Sydney. It was a double-decker sightseeing bus that you can find on the major cities around the world. One of the highlights of this tour was downtown Sydney, Sydney Harbour Bridge, Sydney Opera House, Darling Harbour and the Bondi Beach. You can experience the city at your own pace with your choice of tickets. Since we had a couple of days to spend in town prior our cruise, we decided to get the 48-hour ticket. The price of the ticket was around $40 per day per person. The tour had two routes, a red and a blue route. The main attractions for the red route were Sydney Harbour Bridge, Sydney Tower, King's Cross, the Botanical Garden, Hyde Park, Chinese Garden, Chinatown, Sea Life Sydney Aquarium, and of course the Sydney Opera House. We will show you more about these locations in this video. The main attractions of the blue route were the Central Station, the Australian Museum, Paddington Town Hall, but this is not the Paddington railway station from London, where Paddington the Bear was filmed. In a future video, we will take you to England and the Netherlands, that we visited when we cruised with Royal Princess Cruise on a transatlantic cruise from Europe to New York. And the main attraction of the blue route was the Bondi Beach. This is the One Central Park. It's a mixed-use dual high-rise building located in the suburbs of Sydney. It has two residential apartment towers in addition to a 6-level shopping center. It has an international recognition because of its vertical hanging gardens, a low-carbon tri-generation power plant, and an internal water recycling plant. This is the famous Sydney Opera House, and it symbolizes Australia. If you come to Sydney, you don't want to miss it. The double-decker bus drops you off a couple of blocks from the Opera House. The Sydney Opera House is a world-class performing arts center. In 1957, a Danish architect named Utzon won the international competition to design the Sydney Opera House. His ideas were so ahead of time that they couldn't be engineered, and he had to modify his design. There was a controversy with the project with the government, so the architect ended up resigning from the project, but he came back as a consultant. The Opera House welcomes around 2 million visitors every year, and 3,000 events are held every year. So make sure that if you are in town, plan to get your tickets ahead of time. This is the Luna Park. It is a classic theme park with lots of attractions and rides. Our guide told us that this park is one of the only 2 amusement parks in the world that are protected by government legislation. We are looking at the Sydney Harbour Bridge, the world's largest steel arch bridge. This bridge is known by the locals as the coat hanger. While at the bridge area, you can take a tour to climb the 200 steps to the top, and of course you will be well harnessed and suitable attired. The bridge opened in 1932, and the public was allowed to walk across it before it opened for traffic. The bridge is designed to withstand expansion or contraction due to heating or cooling, and according to our guide, it took 272,000 liters of paint for the initial 3 coats of the bridge. This is the Sun Princess, a princess cruise ship. This ship was built in 1995, and at the time of construction, she was one of the largest cruise ships in the world. This was the ship that in 1998 through 1999 television show The Love Boat was filmed when they did a Love Boat final season. On the Blue Line, we visited the Bondi Beach. It is one of Australia's most iconic beaches, located 4 miles east of Sydney's Central Business District. It has a population approximately of 12,000 residents. The beach was formed by an eruption of an ancient volcano. Its wide sand beaches stretch for 0.6 miles. You can swim, walk, jog, get a bite to eat, or just relax at the beach. There is also free Wi-Fi across the entire beach. This is the Chinese Garden of Friendship. It's a garden retreat in the middle of the city, and one of the best things to do in Sydney. It is located in the southern end of Darling Harbour. It opened in 1988. This garden was modeled after an ancient private garden in China from the 5th century, and it is absolutely beautiful. This is the Royal Botanical Garden, and it contains an amazing display of flora from all over the world. Everywhere you look, you can see different types of trees or plants that you probably have never seen before. It is a 74-acre garden, and it is free to visit. You might want to spend an hour or two strolling the garden. There are nearly 4,000 trees growing in the garden and 8,900 plant species. The oldest trees in the garden are the hoop pine and the giant water gum. Both of them were planted in 1820. Over 3.5 million people visit the garden every year. It is a must-see attraction if you have time to visit. In our next video, we will be showing you the ports of Burnie, Hobart, and Port Arthur in Tasmania. Please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. Thank you.